National sovereignty, the authority of the UK to govern itself. This was one of the major issues in the EU referendum, and in places that voted strongly to leave, like here in Blaenau Gwent, many people don't like the idea of European institutions taking power away from the UK, or even the idea of the UK having to comply with decisions taken at an EU level.
So now that the UK is leaving the EU, what happens when these powers are returned? What does it mean for Wales? And is there a risk that we've bitten off more than we can chew?
It's important to remember that the whole process of devolution in Wales has unfolded within the context of EU membership. The first successful referendum on Welsh devolution took place in 1997, over 2 decades after the UK joined what was then the European Economic Community.
Crucially, some policy areas devolved to Wales, such as agriculture and environmental policy, are also heavily Europeanised. This means that decisions taken in Cardiff are contained or constrained within an EU framework. When this EU framework is lifted, Wales will have greater freedom when exercising its powers in these devolved policy areas. Or, if you prefer, you can think about it as powers being returned from the EU back to Wales.
So what's the problem? Well, there are 3 big issues to address when thinking about the return of powers to Wales. Firstly, resources. It will be important to ensure that there is enough scope for the institutions of Wales to absorb these new policy-making responsibilities. Does Wales have the expertise, the civil servants and the funding to take all this on?
Secondly, policy coordination. The laws of Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland and England have become increasingly different. As it stands, the EU framework is able to smooth over these differences. However, when that's gone, we'll need to think about new ways to coordinate policy across the 4 nations.
Thirdly, re-centralisation. When considering how different the 4 nations' laws could become, it may well be that we see moves from the UK government to try to bring powers back to London. The potential for re-centralisation has been strongly resisted by policymakers in Wales, but in the face of such uncertainty, returning powers to London rather than Wales could start to be seen by some as the safer option.
In these uncertain times, Wales will have to defend the powers it has or face losing them. At the same time, Wales will need to make sure that its institutions have the resources and expertise to take on new powers. Failure to do this could result in the country's ability to govern itself taking several steps backwards.